Hey, welcome to Korean Natural Farming Office Hours, July 16th, 2023. And stoked you're here. Stoked we're all kind of family get together. You know, what better thing to do on your Sunday or whatever day you're watching this, but to tune in, get synchronized, and, you know, focus on the earth, love, freedom, sovereignty, all those things that Korean natural farming stands for. Make sure my volume's all good for you guys. I think good. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I always feel like one of those guys. It's like, is the volume good? Like, comment, share. No, man. Uh, but why not start off with some higher wisdom instead of like commenting and sharing? Although if you want to do those things, that's fine. Um, let's see here. What is? Oh, hey. Speak of it and it speaks of you. Today, number 42, right? That's I think that's the answer to the universe. And it's wind over thunder and it's increase. And it says powerful improvements are underway. The coming of the hexagram I'm not sure how to say Chinese words, but it's I, signifies a period of increase when the power of heaven descends to surround and invigorate our lives. Like all phases, this too will come to an end. But if we make hay while the sun shines, tremendous progress can be made at this time. It is in the nature of human beings to relax and become careless when things begin to go well. The I Ching offers us, or teaches us, that we should not do this if we desire the fullest blessing of this beneficial hour. Indeed, our rewards are multiplied if we increase our conscientiousness in auspicious times rather than decrease it. There are two ways in which the I Ching especially encourages us to do this. Our first task is to make sacrifices for others. In all of your interactions now, embody generosity in thought and action. Forgive what is inferior in others and seek out the good. By giving, by encouraging, by assisting, you will draw the superior person in everyone into devoted action. Your second task in this time of increase is to go on strengthening yourself, as thunder and wind strengthen each other. This means that if you see something good in another, you imitate it. If you see, when you discover something inferior in yourself, you eliminate it. These simple practices, if continued conscientiously over time, will improve your character and fortunes immeasurably. Through service and self-improvement, you assure yourself great progress in the days ahead. So it's always nice when you get a uplifting one, and definitely some increase right now. You know, look at how much I'm here. Look how much chats of people tuning in and feeling good and welcoming each other. And Cheryl here ahead of time, Marty Raspberry, Mitchell, Jared, Goof. Man, you guys all in the house. Haven't lit your candles yet, Goof, but look at these sweet candles. No. And then my mom came over because we had a foundation board meeting yesterday, and I was showing her the lithograph. I think that is. It's this thing. If you shine the light behind it, it's a really cool picture. I don't know. Can you see it that way? No. It just looks like a thing. But I just have it in my window over here, and so, you know, good family assembling, good things happening. Um, and good to see Ben in the house. He's in South Carolina at his family's farm. And yeah, you guys all snack snafu. Yeah. Heather Haynes that's not the no, from Louisiana. Okay. I thought it was like the Brett Weinstein's wife or Eric Weinstein. Brett Weinstein? No. I think you have maybe it's Haynes or something. I don't know. But Heather Haynes, what's up, Heather? And Bird, hey, how's it? Oh, yeah. From the piggy farm in Louisiana. Hope today's the best day of your life until tomorrow. Yep. Continually the best day of your life if you choose it to be. So yeah, Printed Bear, Lone Star. Oh, and Mark Brooder in the house. What's up? Santa Cruz. They should be candy scented candles, but they didn't come out all that well. It does smell sort of like candy, to be honest. I was smelling it. I was like, what the heck is that? Good to know it's candy. Okay. And then before, thanks everyone for being here. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You know, it's really nice. It's building a family, and hopefully today, maybe we'll finish Master Cho's presentation if we get through everything. I don't know. And yeah, play with the chickens. You guys he's out. Some folks are outside sifting compost. I'm almost slightly jay that I'm in here doing this, but okay. Marty Raspberry got in here like way early and asked specifically for plants that are leafing, flowering, and fruiting at the same time: tomatoes, peppers, and peas. How do we use the prescriptions leaf, bloom, and fruit? Okay. Well, so I'm just gonna specifically. They're all very they're all similar nutrient cycle with each other, and let me address that question because Master Cho talks about it with tomatoes, and if you go, if you want to hear him talk about it directly, let me hang on one sec. Let me pull up my channel here. And let me get this side by side. Let me pull this over. Hang on one sec. Pull this over so it's right there and get rid of this. And then transition this over and go to my channel. My channel here. So if you click down below on my channel and then scroll down on it and go down to one of these complete training courses, and then the fruit crop one, which I'm certain it happened in this one because Jeff was there, and Jeff only went to Korea once on these trips, and it was the fruit crop. But somewhere in this playlist here, and don't get me wrong, it's one of 18 videos, and they're quite lengthy, but somewhere in one of these, while we're in the classroom and Master Cho's talking to us, like one of these ones where, Master Cho's talking to us, Jeff asked Master Cho about tomatoes. And he goes on to talk about it for a while. And he talks in here about the nutrient cycle. So I'm not sure exactly which video and where it is. I did, however, just run this through my transcription program, so I could probably index and find them a little better. But if you're really curious and you really want to learn a whole bunch about the tomatoes and peas, I recommend you listen to this thing right here. It says basic fruit crop. I used to say advanced fruit crop, and then I got upset, and then I changed it to basic because I was like, it really is basics. There's not, like, the most advanced stuff is the basics. Excuse me. And so somewhere in here, Jeff Merriman asks Master Cho about tomatoes, and he goes on to talk about tomatoes. But so I'm just trying to give you the original source and a way where you can go listen to him talk about it. But let's go to my book here, and let's have I'll give you my summary on my takes on it. And is the book up? Oh my gosh, I'm having like, what is that? I don't know. But let's go to the book. And basically what you will notice is, let me transition this over. So we're talking about nutrient cycle here, we're talking about the prescriptions of the leaf, the bloom, and the fruit formulas. And basically what's happening is on a tomato plant is it is oscillating back and forth between leaf, bloom, and fruit every 2 weeks. So in the very beginning of your plant, which I've also gone over this nutrient cycle. If you look back on Can of Support, go to office hours and look at these things. Maybe search tomato, you might find some of it. But basically on this nutrient cycle chart here, you're going to start off very similar. You go soil formula, seed formula, then chubby, skinny, chubby, skinny. But it is oscillating back and forth every 2 weeks between leaf growth and fruit growth. And you'll notice if you watch your tomato, you will watch it. What'll happen is it'll leaf and the leaves will grow. And then the next node will then have the flowers, and the flowers will start to grow. And then the leaves will grow, and then the flowers will grow. And the leaves will grow, and then the flowers will grow. And it's this very quick, rapid back and forth cycle, basically looping right in this area between skinny, which is the fruit, and leaf right here, and the bloom. And it's looping really quickly between these. And not all plants just move all the way through. Like on this chart, it's kind of showing you that it would move all the way through one time. It's as if it just goes one time through. But peas, papayas, tomatoes, what else? Peppers, they kind of get loop in this area right here. And sure, they go through and they get, ripening stage over here, but they're basically going through the beginning and then looping right here. And I also do have a document by Master Cho on the on peas and peppers. Actually, maybe that's what I'll cover after I'm done with his main presentation, is go through some of these other documents that I have from him and get into those more deeply. But basic idea is that they go through like this, and then it loops, and it loops, and it loops, and it loops, and you're always getting stuck right there. Not stuck, but that's how the plant's operating. So those plants that are continually making flowering and fruiting all at the same time, that's what they're doing. They're looping right there. So that's my explanation. Master Cho probably explained it a little bit better than me. And another good presentation to look at is, so again, if you're at my thing, you click on my channel here, right there, go down. Another good one to watch, let's close this out, is under the same basic things here. There's also the basic nutrient cycle course, which this was like a 5-day presentation in North Kohala when Master Cho came to the Big Island. And if you're really looking for the nutrient cycle, this presentation was supposed to be a lot about that, but ended up a bunch of people asked questions because they were trying to verify us as instructors against each other of what was happening. And but Master Cho talked a lot about nutrient cycle in this presentation. So there's a whole playlist here. So I don't know if you guys know how to use YouTube, but if you click on a playlist, then it gives you all these videos to the right. If you just let them play, they'll play, but you can also just click on the next video where these are, linked to each other here. So, and I think that, here's Master Cho, and he's going through a similar presentation that I've been going through. In fact, it may be the same one. And, looking at IMOs, and all these things, and bless Kim Chang and her blessed soul for translating, grueling hour after hour translating for him. But it does look like in this one, he did peach and rice, and I can't tell what that first, it says pear, and then prescription for animals. So it looks like that's what they wrote up here. So it looks like that's probably was talked about during this section. And And so I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to go back and re-watch these and or re-index them to find out. But this is another great resource if you're looking for those things. So what's up, Tanzania? So and then so Printer Bear is asking too. They says been spraying leaf and bloom on the Three Sisters patch, which is Three Sisters is what, beans, corn, and squash, and then the fourth hidden sister is basil. Plant basil. It'll bring in your pollinators and keep them happy. So the four sisters. And then to see if the fish amino acid, the fuel, will make the bean modulation decrease. And I don't think so. I don't think typically nitrogen fertilizer will shut down production of if I took chemical like NPK fertilizer and I put it on to a plant, it'll shut down the root nodules and their nitrogen fixation. But I don't think fish amino acid has the same shut down thing because it's amino acids. It's not like these complex nitrogens. And the more I learn about amino acids, the more I'm just like, wow, the fish amino acid, we did this soy sauce a couple weeks ago. And then I went to a presentation. The frontline doctors came and they were talking about how to heal from long COVID. And it turns out like these amino acids and are super vital for repairing any type of swelling or anything. But I got to go see in town here. Let me show you here. I got to see Dr. You can't really see that, but Dr. Pierre Corey and Dr. Ryan Cole, and then two other doctors came talking about exosomes and all these interesting things, but very similar to like how do you home brew these things, and the fish amino acid's one of them. And I don't think the nitrogen I don't think that adding the nitrogen, because it's not nitrogen the same way. It's amino acids. They're already broken down and they're water soluble, and as soon as you spray it onto the leaves, they're like uptake, they're taken up. And so I don't think it'll reduce nodulation and nitrogen fixation in the soil. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And Printer Bear apparently is going to report back to us if it did change, which is always a good thing to know. So yeah, and then also since I was on the topic, I made this shirt. In fact, this is just a print on paper. And I'm gonna iron it onto a shirt later today. I'm not wearing my custom shirts, although I did just buy a shirt. I've had this iron on printer paper for a while, and it's cool because you have to print it in reverse to iron it onto a shirt, and then here I have this camera reversed, so it comes out right for you guys to look at it. But anyway, figure one of the best ways to go about life is to just wear memes on shirts, and but I should make some natural farming shirts and good positive messages. Although safe and effective is a great message to share with people. So anyway, increasing pigeonholing myself, talking about things, out myself as a person for true freedom and liberty. But you guys already knew that. So anyway, here, KNF support, all these things, getting into it. So if you're looking for older recipes, other things, let me just search right here for tomato real fast. Tomato growth cycle. Did we find it? Yeah, look at this. Yeah, hey, so this question's been answered. Yeah, here's actually an answer. So tomato growth cycle was already here. I should have just searched in here before I start to like re-answer things. And alternating between chubby and skinny, and replacing skinny every other time with a puberty. Yeah, there we go. There's the answer right there. I probably looked up this from there. Chubby, skinny, chubby, puberty, chubby, skinny, chubby, puberty, and so forth. There you go. That's the tomato cycle. That's if you're doing it every week. Dang, it's already perfectly answered. And then here I put a link in here. Oh, this is to the nutrient cycle. Has anyone watched this video? This one's pretty good. Although I don't think I'm 100% correct on this, but I'm always trying to get better and understand this. This is one of the most vastly mysterious natural farming videos out there, but okay, so since I wanted to finish the Master Cho presentation, why not just finish the Master Cho presentation? I'm here, you guys are here. It's a good time. We're increasing. And why not go back to the original source? Because, if anytime I get into things. So, before we go to that, let me just put up Master Cho's photo, because all credit to Master Cho here. He's really, like I say every time, I don't know where I would be without him. Yeah, lots of good info. Cool. Thank you. Oh, good milk. Yeah, milk from my KNF cow. We ferment her feed every day and put the maintenance in there, and it's delicious milk. I'm really stoked that we're gonna be working on the pastures here pretty soon in like a top in a very lifted way. Okay, so here's Master Cho. Love this guy. If you don't know him, check him out. I got tons of video on my channel. And so take time, browse through, and not all the things you have to watch to see. You can just listen to him while you're out doing good stuff, and just listen to Master Cho and his wisdom, and whoever the blessed people, blessed Koreans in my life that have translated his wisdom into English for us for consumption, because 안녕하세요, I barely speak Korean. So anyway, I want to give credit where credit is due, and then jump into his stuff here. What's up, Tyler? Thank you, Burden. I hope things are good and okay. I hope things are okay and okay. Yeah, better than okay. Things are great here, but it's just okay, man. Anyway, the Oklahoma crew in the house. So here's the sand bath. I think this is where we ended last time. We were going through the chickens. We're almost finishing out Master Cho's things. I talked a lot about the water, the difference last week, the feeder, the pictures of the feeder, the chickens eating from the feeder. Look at these teenager birds. And then we ended on the sand bath, right? And that's why it's so important that you raise chickens in where they got sunlight and then dirt and this living floor, because chickens love to kick the dirt up into their feathers, and this is how they clean themselves. They do dirt baths. They do IMO dirt baths, and they come out cleaner. This is something that blows my mind. What's up, Willie? Is that my dog every day will roll around in the barn in the floor and get completely covered in dirt. And I have a white dog. I mean, she's a Dalmatian, so she's primarily white with like little brown spots, and she's a healer too, so she got a patch eye. But she's a white dog, and every day she comes like she's just clean again. I never bathe my dog ever. I believe bathing dogs is like the worst thing you can do for them, because it throws off their microbiome. If you notice, you ever bathe a dog, it immediately goes and rolls in the dirt as quick as it can, because they know what's up. So chickens here, dust bathing, putting dirt into their feathers, and then they'll shake it out afterwards. They get clean from dirt. It's like the most, people would think, oh, dirt, you got to wash it off. Dirt is awesome. Somehow the skin absorbs it, all those minerals, whatever, I don't know. And I also have pigs, and the pigs come out just like spick and span clean. My one pig, short ribs, she loves getting the food waterfall. So when I dump food into her pen, she'll just lean into it and just get covered in it and covered in food. Every day I come back the next day, she's completely clean. And it's not like she's bathing. It's not, she's a single pig in a single pen. It's not like other pigs are licking it off. She's clean. So dust bath, forest bathing, getting into the IMO baths and things and getting this stuff on you. I don't know. It seems to work. It is a miracle. I have no idea how it works, but you can basically cover yourself in dirt and you'll come out clean. I mean, granted, you'll be dirty for a little while and like, you know, rub stuff and you'll probably get your upholstery and stuff dirty around you. But somehow it's super good for your skin, cleans you. Chickens come out spick and span, shiny, and just like, I don't know, but there's some miracle here. And I believe one of the things I always talk to Suze about is Americans' obsession with showering. All the time, they're like, I gotta take a shower, I gotta shower, I gotta shower. And then they use soap and they strip all their microbiome off. And the microbiome is what connects you cosmically to the subtleness of the energies of the DNA transcription, subtle radio waves, modem, receiver, sender. And you're constantly stripping your microbiome off. And then you wonder why you get sick all the time. It's like animals don't get sick that often. I mean, they do get once in a while, but not as often as we do. And it's, I mean, granted, they maybe have a little less exposure, but they're also covered in living microbial soil and dirt. And Americans were just obsessed with showering. It's like people shower like 2-3 times a day. I'm like, man, I shower like 2-3 times a year. I don't smell. I'm clean. It's like, it's amazing. I do shower after I'm like handling chemicals or, you know, doing like gnarly, like the other day I was doing, busting rock and I was covered in crap, and you know, I try to get some of the grit off, but I don't, but I rinse, and I did use the soap that Michael sent me the other day, but you know, but I barely ever do that. And so and rubbing dirt in my hair, it works really well. I know you think, oh, it's counterintuitive, it's not going to get you clean. I swear to you, it gets you clean. And yeah, you don't want to have a bunch of pathogens on you. You want to be in like healthy living dirt, but give it a try. Like, go, if you got these chickens and you got it, and like rub a little bit of that dirt in your hair and just give it a day and you'll see. And the thing is, you kind of got to build up your microbiome and all this. Like, if you're just transitioning from being completely clean, like showering, like clean, it's like, you know, your microbiome being stripped. You may need like a little weak transition. So I'm just saying, I barely ever shower, and I'm like, people say, oh, I'm super clean, right? So yeah, rock dust is gnarly, and rinsing. There's a difference between rinsing, which I'm into, versus like soaping and stripping all that stuff off. Rinsing off and getting rinsed and just rinsing is totally cool too. But anyway, your mileage may vary. I'm not promising anything. I'm just saying what I do is the same. So yeah, and you could probably brush your teeth with the IMOs. I don't know. People use charcoal. Charcoal works really well. Charcoal and salt, those are super good. But the old JMS, like, so if you're worried about pathogens, old JMS and those things, they're okay. You know, just the key is dilution if you're worried about pathogenicity. So yeah, and IMO 3 or 4 for human manure. Yeah, I don't necessarily recommend rubbing the human manure one against you, but these chickens are dirt bathing in their chicken manures and ocean baths. Yeah. So anyway, all that stuff, you know, I don't want to trip out on that too hard, but oh, where was I? Okay. I lost it on the left side. Oh, there it is. Okay. So moving on from that dirt bathing, let's get into the layer chicken and the nesting box. So again, this laying nesting box here, it has a few things. One thing is it has it's built at this angle. This is not a 45-degree angle. This is more like a 60-degree angle coming down. And what that enables you to do is that this door here opens up in this way. It's hinged here and hinged there, and you can open it up. And from this here hanging down right from this hinge area, like this hinge right here, you hang a sheet, and it's that sheet is slitted with a bunch of slits. And what that enables you to do is to lift up this sheet so you can look inside. But when this is closed, that sheet hangs down right against this wood barrier right here, which is holding in all the material behind. And that creates a dark zone so the chickens can be in here. So that wood divider's right here. This part right here is a little area where the chickens can hop up. Then they hop over this wall. They go through the sheet into the back. And this back area, I fill either with sawdust or wood shavings or hemp hurd or some sort of fine material. They use rice hulls in Korea in the back here. And the chickens sit on top of this and make these little nests. And a bunch of chickens will sit in here and make a bunch of different nests, depending on how many birds you have. And the black curtain hanging down, it doesn't actually hang down from right there. It hangs down from right there, right there. So they're a little bit off in this drawing right here. It hangs down from right there. And the way this is designed, you can see it's 59 inches tall. There's about 2 feet from here. You can make that 60 inches, make this 2 feet here, and make that 12, a foot there, and then make this about 10 inches tall, 9.5, 10 inches tall, somewhere in there. And because these dimensions are being translated over from Korean or centimeters and stuff, so they just did this exact translation. But it's like, just make it 72 inches wide and stuff. Like just don't change the dimensions a whole bunch, but make them more sensible in terms of what, it's not like I'm going to go cut something 59 inches. I'm going to cut it 60 inches, right? Or some whatever, work with your material to make it go, make this 6 feet wide here. So this is the nesting box. This thing lifts up, opens. There's an aeration slit at the top because this thing the heat will rise and leave through the top. So you put a small gap, but then you put a cloth over that. So you see that small gap right there? There's a cloth coming over that. And then I also recommend on this one that I on mine, I had to put a rolly bar up here. So the same like the chicken feeder here, where you put a bar and this bar can freely spin. It's just put in there loosely so it can spin. I also put a rolly bar at the very top because my chickens will try and roost up here and then they'll crap all over this thing. So I just put a rolly bar up there so that when they get up there, they have to stand on the rolly bar, and the rolly bar spins and then they can't stand up there. But this is the nesting box. Here's a picture of it. And in my cloth that hangs down, I made a bunch of slits, and I actually put 2 sheets of black cloth in front of each other, and one I slit here and the next I slit there so they line up so that they can get through really easily, but then the other, they overlap with each other. It's like a curtain overlapping. Yeah, so anyway, you see that the black cloth anyway hanging down makes it dark in the back. The chicken nesting box, what's nice about it is that this design, when it's dark in the back, is it reduces the amount that these chickens squawk, and they don't have as much of an ego trip. They're peaceful in the back. They lay there. They all share the same nest. You'll go in there for just a pile of eggs, and they don't have the same ego trip to let each other know, like, I laid the eggs, I laid them. And Pedro, great point on this, man, is that in the back here, also throw in some lemongrass and cut it up, make it small little chips of lemongrass, but that will reduce the amount of mites. Because sometimes, I do every once in a while get mite problems, but if I throw in a bunch of lemongrass back here, the mites go away. So that's a great tip, great thing that I talk about here. But I think you learned that here, right? So came to the class here and learned a whole bunch of pro tips of stuff that, I guess you get them during the office hour too. But yeah. And then also, if you are interested in that, again, talking about the YouTubes here, going to my channel here on the YouTubes, And then this, let's get rid of this small one here. But this is gone over in excruciating detail. In fact, we built all of these different things. If you come down to, again, the basic Korean natural farming courses here, and then the poultry training here. And this one, if we skip, I think it was day 3 or 4. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, day 3. This is us building everything from scratch. So here's us building this nesting box right here. This is Mr. Lee, and he built everything, measured it all out and built it, and we helped him build it together. So if you're curious on like, okay, I saw the design, how exactly do I do it? Then just watch this video here, the basic poultry training number 3 of 10. And you'll see him going through everything. So we're building, poultry, the laying box. Here's, hanging the black sheet over the back, like we're talking. He's going to staple that on and then swing it over. There's the sheet that's been cut here. Look at that. You see? Perfect. Coming down.
Does not get dirty due to the
So, you see that door I'm talking about, that sheet coming down. Dr. Park, you're lovely. I love you, man. And so we built everything in this video. Even, let's see here. Skip forward. Come on, internet. But yeah, we basically went over everything. So he's talking about the rolly bar and talking about the feeder, and it spins. So
this one go there.
So he's putting the rolly bar on, so everything I was talking about, but the chickens, we spent days in Korea learning about this and doing it. So, check that out. If you're interested, in really seeing, besides just these diagrams and seeing these things, because we did it in action. And then also we did this whole thing of the laying chicken perch and nesting box. So, this is the interesting thing that after a couple days ago, I was talking about, let's see, where was it? It was this one here where I was talking about how to, you release the chickens with their brooder box in the back. They come out to here day 30. And then this one is the next slide that probably should have been in order with that one, is that here, yeah, join the class, everyone. Yeah, everyone should come. But the layer chicken perch nesting box is after it's fully open, after day 30, you put their perch above their brooder box. And so because what happens is they go in here to sleep when they're young, right? Day 30 and stuff, they're going to be sleeping in here. Then eventually, but the perch is right above it, and it says here when more than a third of the birds take perches at 55 to 60 days, remove the brooder box. So because you want to transition the chickens from going in their home, like when they're small birds, they nest on the ground, they can't really get up into trees. But as they start to mature, they will start to perch on this perch up here. And this perch has a special design to it. I'm pretty sure it's in here. No, maybe it's not. But basically it's a stadium type design where, like the lowest it's lower in front and raised in the back. And I don't know the exact dimensions for this, although I do think that this is on Natural Farming Hawaii under the chicken section. I do think this perch plan is there. And so basically you're training the chickens to go from being in here to perching up on this perch. And when they're doing that, then you remove this box. And their nesting box is placed in there as well at that time. After the 30 days, you put their nesting box in there and their feeder and their waterer, right? And this is the orientation you want to have, because basically this enables the chickens to walk to the waterer and not trip over their feeding things. And I think this is the little jail for them. So if they're pecking each other or if they're brooding, you put them into here and it stops them from doing that. And the perch does not change in size based on the chickens, because they're able, chickens, if you watch them, they'll naturally perch up in trees, right? Like if you have wild chickens, they go and sleep in trees. And by day 60 or so, they're able to get up into the trees. And the perch is about, I don't know, this big or so, where the chicken can clasp. Like think you're building like a tree where they can clasp on there and they're nice round. I just use natural Vivy or guava sticks is what I have around here to build this perch. And it sits there so the chickens can clasp on, but the height doesn't really change. The front of this thing, I would say, like is about 2 feet, maybe. It's enough to fit over this, and this is about what, 24 inches. Like it's about 2 feet, and then in the back it's about like 2.5, 3 feet, somewhere between there. There's like maybe a foot difference between the back and the front. Maybe we'll see a picture of it here. Let's see, actually, is there a picture of it? Yeah, there's a picture. You see, it's in the front row, it's kind of down, and then it's headed up. So it looks about a half foot different, maybe, not a full foot. But they're perching on the back here, and there it is. Let's see, is there another picture? Yeah, so there's another picture of the perch right here. So you see it's kind of like bent. It bows, like the sides are a little bit lower. It's higher in the center, and then the back is also taller up. So building this kind of structure, it's not that hard to imagine. I don't think you need exact plans, but it looks about 2 feet and then 2.5 to 3 feet up in the back, maybe 2.5 feet, something like that. And the chickens will hop up here and perch, and at night they'll all be perched up here. But this is kind of what it looks like for them, So. And there's another drawing of it that may be a little bit better to see these perches put here. And then you see this chicken in the back here is saying, I'm number one. It's because the chickens that lay the most eggs and lay the best eggs actually get the highest position on the perch. So if you're going to, you need a chicken for soup, and you come in at night, grab a chicken off the lower perch, because those aren't your good laying hens anyway. And so you grab one of those and then boil some water and take off the feathers and then cook it. And then this chicken over here is saying, I can't take feeder boxes instead of the perches, because you see this chicken is falling, because they will try and perch up here, but the thing spins, so they fall off. And then this chicken over here is saying we mix rice straw with our manure, so they're always stirring the floor up for you as they scratch and peck, and they keep the floor clean because it gets mixed in, and the IMOs get rid of it. And then this chicken's saying the bedding is delicious, and it's because as the waste, the manure gets mixed in with the IMOs, it actually breaks it down into like digestible proteins, and the it's fermented, so it completely changes from being toxic to being non-toxic and actually nutritious for them. That eyewitness said I just pooped in, but popped in. And then the chicken in here, I've laid an egg. It helps reduce their, their squawking and stuff like that. And this chicken is saying fermentation occurs in bedding, so it's warm even in winter, which is another thing. For me, it doesn't really matter. I'm in Hawaii. It doesn't get that cold. But you don't need to heat the chickens or spend money on heating, because the floor itself actually stays warm and radiates heat because it's a compost pile, and keeps the chickens just fine. And this here is saying that rice straw is 7 centimeters in depth, and the straw is cut 3 centimeters long. So you want to basically use grass clippings or some sort of thing to make, I don't know what 7 centimeters is. I think it's only like 3 or 4 inches. I could actually double check that because I got a sweet converter app. Let me see here. What is, who knows? What is 7 centimeters? let's see, centimeters, and I want that in inches because that's how I think. So 7, it's a little less than 3 inches, 2.75 inches is what you want to do. So it's not very much straw or grass clippings put down. It's only about 2.5 inches, 3 inches in depth, and I would say between 3 and 6 inches is probably your best, because if you put in 6 inches, it'll break down, and then you can always just replenish and keep it going. But the key is that you don't want very long pieces of material in there. If you put in long grass or long material, what happens is the chickens will poop on it, and then they can't turn the small stuff. So it's cut smaller, they can turn it. But if it's longer, then they'll crap on it, and then they can't turn it. So it just turns into a mat of crap. So you want to make sure whatever material you're putting in there, like sometimes we've used just straight up wood chips, and it works really well. Just about 3 to 4 inches of wood chips in there. And that works really well as well, instead of just the rice straw. But that's the basic poultry laying house interior environment is what it looks like. And then here's a side view again of this perch. So if I zoom in on that, you can see the center is raised. So the center of this is raised up a bit, and then the back of it is high. So the center's high and the back's high. Love saying that to this crowd. And then, that's a picture of it. So the best chicken gets the center back spot, and it's usually, you'll notice that spot is taken by the king rooster. And there's, one rooster for every 12 hens that you have in a pen to keep good social order. But the rooster in his clutch of best hens will have this position right here, and then further down the pecking order. So here's again another picture of it. Here's the roosters with their hens, and doing their thing, and the roll up down thing in the back here. You can see their little cloth kind of got stuck in the door there. Their rolly bar feeders, their nice floor. But this is one of the best. When I go to these chicken pens, it looks like pretty high density, but the chickens love it. They're smiling from ear to ear, or beak to beak. They're just like, they're happy. And on my chicken pen too, I just ran up a 4-foot chicken wire. It's not chicken wired all the way up, and they don't even want to escape. They just stay in the pen. They're so happy. Jared's saying he used hemp chips, and it has stayed clean with no smell. So again, that those types of natural materials, hemp seems like a really good, long-lasting, very fibrous material, and I would highly recommend that. And if you're looking for things, my friend Mowgli Chandra, he has a company in Michigan that sells really good hemp hurd and hemp products for doing those things. So just plug for him. He's out there somewhere. And then people, Pedro saying for the floor, he's seen some people mix wheat bran with the straw or wood chips, and that works as well. The key is to get small enough material that it'll start to break down, and in the floor, will kind of become like this dirt stuff, where it completely turns into microorganisms and, composted IMO 5 basically, which I hate saying IMO 5 because Master Cho calls like 10 different things IMO 5, but I also call this stuff biome. So the floor is really good material that you can pull out about 1/3 of the material every batch, every season, and use this, and it's some of the best IMOs. Like, you think you make good IMOs? The chickens and the pigs make even better IMO than you can. And so using this floor material each year and then replenishing it with more makes sense. You don't want to take it all out, because the longer the floor matures, the better it's going to be. So don't use it all each year, but pull some out and add more in, especially between batches of chickens. But layer chickens, you can keep them about 4, 5, 6, 7 years even, and they'll lay just fine. But if you're doing broilers, you're gonna, each time you're harvesting, you may as well pull out some of the floor and then add new, and that way you're getting some of those chickens out. So, and then Rainbow Possum Farm saying, I've really been into using combo of pine straw and pine pellets and pre-fluffed with some water and LAB. So that's another good thing for the floor here. I would, recommend, use what's around you that you have a lot of, and, those things are good. Oh, I'm going to shut this window real quick. It's kind of blowing. I don't know if you can hear it on the mic, but anyway. So here's just another picture of it, and I believe this is their feed being fermented. So look how fermented their feed is. I believe that's what that's a picture of, is their fermented feed here. And then Tyler's saying that he uses the floor as part of a soil start mix. So making your own, instead of buying Pro Mix, making your own soil start mix, he uses the chicken floor, 1 part, compost, 1 part, and peat moss, 1 part. And it makes great starter, like your own Pro Mix. And that's awesome, man. I really, getting onto those things, and all those things make total sense of, how to turn this into now good chickens equals good plants equals, everything. And then you can feed the chickens better food, all these things. So this is what it looks like in action. These chickens don't give a crap about eating. They're like, we don't care, man. But they'll all cycle through and they all have their own little pecking order. This thing over here is a little prison that they put in. I don't have one of these, but it has its own waterer. And this is for chickens, I think, that are too broody and or being mischievous, like pecking other chickens. Master Cho did have another technique. So if they're picking on one chicken and they're pecking one chicken, you can spread a bunch of red confetti out here, and then they will stop pecking that chicken because they'll peck the confetti instead. Chickens, when they see blood, they just peck it. They're carnivore dinosaurs, and they're nuts. So there's a few ways to mitigate that, but you can put them. I don't do this prison thing, but you could. Here, this is straight up Korean style. Is put them in the gulag. And then here, looking at the ground, this is like looking at what eventually it's straw, and then here's somebody using rice hulls. So in Korea, they do use the rice hulls, but this is what it turns into, like this really good, fine, composty powder. It's pretty amazing. And, I guess that's what I wanted. Blue. And then here's, the inside of the laying box. Like I said, they all lay inside that box. They'll make these piles of eggs. One chicken will kind of hold on to them. And if you're really doing Korean natural farming properly, you're fermenting their feed, you should be able to pick the egg up with chopsticks, and the white will stick to the yolk, and you'll get these 3 distinct layers: the outside, that one, and that one, of the 3 distinct layers. And their eggs are so firm and so amazing from the fermented feed and the good conditions and the microbes, and they're strengthening them, that their eggs are just amazing. So if you're doing it right, it's right. This is the test. Can you pick your egg up with chopsticks? And I've seen that in Korea. My eggs, most of the time I can do it. Sometimes they don't. But this is the difference. It's probably because I'm feeding them. I just ferment. I should probably make more of their own feed, but I'm lazy. But here's the difference. You can see the difference between, standard cage-fed, eggs, like the Babylon chickens versus the Korean natural farming chickens. Like, look at the difference between the color and the differentiation between the whites and the yolks. And I think that's their color meters in the back. It's like more orangish. I think I'm colorblind, so it's hard for me to tell, but and this is the grading of the chicken, right? The comparison of the color. But you just look at those eggs and which one looks healthier to you. Definitely this one on the left side over there, right? To me, at least. And Pedro said he had the best eggs in his life in Hawaii. That's cool. Yeah, I think my eggs could be slightly better, but I'm trying. I'm trying, you know. Um, so, and then here again, this is looking at the difference in the intestines. And so in the organs, okay? So look at these, you know, here's the fat on the cage fed one where you're getting all this like kind of gelatinating fat here. And then here's this like trim, like fit chicken. And then there's their intestine length where the intestines of the natural farming chicken, like look how much the large intestine's bigger and these small intestines are so much longer. I think they'd show it stretched out, but it's like, you know, you want to be eating food from a healthy chicken. You don't want to be eating it from like this obese, unhealthy chicken. You know, we are what we eat, right? And so we want to be eating from healthy food, healthy plants, healthy microbes, healthy soil, the whole way up. And then, of course, eating healthy humans, right? Whoops, no. We can't do that. And then here, hormones against stress. Apparently, they measured hormones. I don't know how to read the Korean, but it's saying like the conventionally raised cage-fed ones have hardly any of this hormone against stress, but apparently the natural farming ones have plenty of this. And what does it say? Plasma, cortisol, so cortisol. They got way more whatever anti-stress hormone. And then this last little bit, let's see if we can we get through it? I think I may as well just go through and let's see, but we'll get on to the broilers. So this is what another I think this might be Mr. Lee's farm. I don't think so though. But here's another, just, you know, if you can't afford the metal building, he made this one out of a plastic greenhouse, and it's probably a lot cheaper than the metal building. But again, the roll-up sides here, again, the split roof, again, the air comes in through the side, goes out through the top, and then built his chicken pen into this one here. And then here's, you know, the inside of the floor. They're getting all the IMO floor together. This looks like they're building a little brooder box. I'm not sure why the plastic was put down under it. But then they put the tatami mat, the little bamboo mat down, the layer box, put that on top. I've kind of gone over this, so looks like they're making a bunch of IMOs for the floor here. And this is Master Cho, man. Look at him. He's fit, wearing boots, out. This is before, I met him when he was much older, but this is young Master Cho making IMOs and turning this into a chicken house. Here is a better picture of the brooder box for broilers. So in a layer thing, it was only half of this, right? You were only looking at half. Now the broilers, because you're going to raise 200 at a time and not 120 at a time, you're going to want to make it bigger. So you can see the raised ramp coming up the back. You can see how this thing is much bigger. I think this is about 6 feet wide instead of 36 inches. It's 72 inches wide, so 6 feet. And then the broilers, the idea is to just maximize how fast they're going to grow. And so here's their little brooder box. Notice the nice straw. Notice how the floor is all nice and level and everything. Master Cho was very adamant about that. But this is where you'll first start them, and they'll put 200 little chicks in here, and they'll go in here and get warm and then come out, and this top will be filled with rice straw. But very similar to what we did with the layers, but just bigger. And then here's the broilers all coming in these little boxes because you usually get them from a hatchery. And what you do is you leave them here for about an hour or so, condition them to your area. Then you put a huge pile of brown rice right in front of their house with the sheet coming down. And then you release them onto that pile of rice. So you just take all these chicks and like place them onto the pile of rice. And then they'll do that thing and they'll just eat. The broilers, though, I think their diet's a little bit different. You don't just feed them rice for the first three days. Maybe. I don't think so. It'll probably tell me, but I probably should have written this down. But anyway, and he says he's doing 350 to 400 chicks. So when I was saying 200, maybe he's doing a little bit more, 400. I don't know. He's raising a bunch of them in here. Okay, so maybe I should probably review this before I start talking about it. But here's the original thing right here, 350 to 400. So I can't argue with that. Here it is. and you can see the dimensions a little bit bigger. Day 2, day 4, day 5, maybe 5 or 6, and then day 2, day 4, and then day 7, the pen gets way bigger because there's a lot of chickens in there. Day 10, it's getting bigger. Day 15, even bigger. Day 20, even bigger. And then day 30, I think you'd let them have the whole chicken pen. And I'm not sure, some broilers, some Frankenstein birds, they harvest at like 20 days or something. I don't know. It's amazing how fast they've engineered these things to grow. But you can see everything changing, the dimensions of the pipe changing here. And then again, they're big water. Their feeders obviously getting more of these things coming out. You can kind of imagine how all this works better than I can probably explain it. And here's looking at all these chickens. Maybe that is 400 of them. Jeez. Wow. That's, I'm not into broiler raising. I do like to eat chickens, but I usually just eat my roosters from the ones we hatch, for the layer birds. For my own use, that's perfectly fine. But here's all these broilers running out. Each of these has their own little pen, you can see here, and doing their thing, eating, getting fat fast so you can fry them up, make some Korean fried chicken, KFC, Look how stoked this lady is. She's like, I'm going to eat all you. And then their water are getting bigger. This is a heck of a broiler operation. This is how to do it, man. If you're going to go big. But compare this to like Tyson chicken farms where they're all in this like dark thing and this nightmare. If you haven't watched the movie Samsara, definitely watch that. And you'll be like, oh, I'm not sure I want to eat Costco chicken anymore. But Korean fried chicken, KFC, I'd eat that, man, all day. As long as it's fried in coconut oil, right? No seed oils. No seed oils. But here's these broilers. Look at them getting big. The surrounding environment. Of course, the fresh air blowing in. Plant sesame seed out here. It'll bring in extra omegas for them. Look at their big water. All these chickens just getting fat fast. And the whole key is to feed the broilers as fast as you can. Yeah, but coconuts, it's not the same as like canola oil or anything. And then here, look at this. They got these big feeders. Because the broilers eat so much, they actually always have food, right? So having the food all the time, these big feeders, they're able to just always, unlike layers where you kind of want them to run out of food for about 2 hours and then feed them again. Broilers, you want to have them constantly have access to food. So these feeders, they just dump food in there and then they'll eat and auto feed out of these. So a little bit different. This is definitely more commercial oriented, but look at all these chickens running back and forth and getting huge. They're about ready to go in the fryer. And then here's the ground after shipping. So apparently they shipped these chickens someplace. I think it's, but they've completely changed the manure into feed. And, you got all this after those birds are out of there, 20 days, 30 days. I don't know how fast broilers grow. It's kind of gross. If you've ever raised Cornish crosses, it's like, ugh. They get so fat they can't even walk. It's really gross. It's not my favorite thing to do. But they change it all into manure. Then you can use this, grow better plants, raise more chickens, make more prosperity for you and your family. And with that, 4 minutes over, 5 minutes over, we've done it, folks. We've done it. We've done it. We've done it. Thank you to Master Cho. Thank you to you guys. Thanks for everybody. We finally made it through 291 slides. We made it. We did it. And we went through all this. So I went over the broilers a little bit quicker, and I didn't go through their feeding regimen, but it's for another time. We'll get back to that. We'll do those things. And Rainbow Possum saying they did broilers for the first time this year. They're such monsters when you put the food down, dogpiling at each other to get their food. We tractored ours on pasture too. Yep. They're wild. They're voracious. They're like little dinosaurs that are doing it. And then, yeah, so raising broilers is gnarly, but well worth it. They're tasty. I mean, I'm not saying they're not tasty. It's just like, if you've ever done it yourself, you're just like, whoa, that's the chicken I'm eating all the time. Wow. Okay. Those Cornish crosses, man, mutants. That's all I can say. Could you make so Thomas, I'll answer your last question here, and love up to everybody. Thanks for tuning in, but I'm going to answer Thomas's question here. Could you make dry labs using wheat bran or something and mix it into the feed and put it in an auto feeder? The answer is yes. You can make dry labs, and it's in the chicken poultry video when we go to Master Lee's farm, Pastor Lee, Master Lee's farm, and he'll show you. It's in one of the videos. So it's just like bokashi bran. Yeah, it's very dry labs is very similar to making bokashi. You basically take rice bran, you put it in a barrel, you pour on liquid IMO, stir it in a little bit, and you seal that. And in 2 weeks, that turns into dry LAB. And it's very similar to making bokashi bran. So if you ever made bokashi, that's kind of a very similar thing. Yeah, and that's how to do it. So you can and mix that into the dry feed and do all that. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Made it through the presentation. We'll see what we get to in the next office hour. I'll have something exciting and new. I mean, not that this presentation wasn't exciting and new, but it's always, tell your friends, tune in, Korean natural farming, go out, farm, make the world a better place, increase, make hay while the sun shines, which apparently I got to go outside and make some hay today because the sun's shining. But yeah, love you guys. Awesome. Long live the natural farmer. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Sunday. Aloha. Bye now.